Let's get right to it. I'm going to show you how I take my polymer clay wings and turn them into an NPC. What's an NPC? If you don't know what that is, it's a non-player character. I use them for my Dungeons and Dragons type games or my short movies and short stories. So let's get started. So here she is. She is a beautiful flapper girl in the 1920s, and she happens to have wings. So the first thing I need to do is add her wings. So I happen to I'm using a program called Canva, and I had imported earlier for a different project a wing I created out of polymer clay, but I needed to remove the background. So what I'm going to do is use the background remover tool that they have. It is in the Pro package though, just to give you a little bit of a heads up. What happens is when you click the background remover, what I did first was I had cropped it down and got rid of as much of the fluff behind the wing as possible, clicked the background remover, and it does the magic for you. Then I use duplicate tool to duplicate her wing so it's identical. There is a button down below that is like a backwards U, and it says flip. So I take that and I flip her wing over, then take a positioning tool, click each wing, and pop it behind her. That's the first step. This next step is her gem of convenience. This was also made out of polymer clay. She's wearing it, she stole it from a dragon, and I need it to look like it's part of her costume. It's too big. Needed to have the background removed, so I did the same technique I did with the wings and removed it with the background remover tool. However, I started playing around with it. I just want to talk about my process for a second. I played around with using it right with the pearls that she had already around her neck that came with the imagery that I used. Did not seem to like the way it worked. I felt it was too big. I felt that it didn't connect well. And so I had to come up with a different solution for it. So I scaled the pendant down and took a closer look at how I wanted it positioned. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time, and you play around with the different angles, as you can see I'm doing here. And then you come to a realization of how you should go about the next step. I felt that once I got it to a size that was approximately what the scale should be for her, I needed to add my own pearl necklace. As you can see, she's wearing pearl necklace around her neck. That was there. So I decided to go back in, and I'm going to show you how I took this little gold chain that's looped there and added a pearl choker to her entire costume. It's really not that hard, and if you just learn how to use the little clicks, it's totally doable on a phone. I literally used my phone to record this, and I was sitting in my back room on a couch without any worry at all of having big fancy equipment. So let me show you what happens next. So I go into the elements, it's the elements tab, and I typed in pearl necklace. I came up with a whole bunch of solutions. The first one that I'm going to show you I picked, it was a little cartoony and did not feel realistic to me. So you might have to play around until you find one that works. I really wanted this to feel real. I found one of the pro options, the pearl necklace that you see that I'm going to pop on now. It looked like the shape, it looked like the form. I wanted it to be a little bit different color than what she was wearing. And I was like, that's it. However, as you can see, it has the entire necklace. How do you get that to go away so it looks like it's just going around her neck? You use the cropping tool. So if you click on it, this is literally clicking with my fingers. You double clicked on it, it came up with an option to crop. There's also a word down below that says cropped. And you see these little white lines at the corners there? You will then be able to crop out either the bottom or the top and the sides, left or right. What happened with me is I wanted the top to go away. So I made like a little smiley face or a little U and dragged it up onto her neckline. And I had to get it so it appeared it was wrapping around her neck. So you can zoom in. You can just literally take your fingers and zoom right in. You don't have to use any special keys or special buttons. Again, this was all done on my iPhone. And just turned those little arrows that you see on my screen to shift the positioning. I use this, what you see there, the purple little square will basically help you be able to turn it. Now I'm bringing back in the pendant. The pendant never really disappeared. It was just off camera at the time. It was down below, and I'm going to try to position it so it looks natural on her neck. Again, this is all done, and I know I keep repeating myself, but I want you to understand that it's that easy, and it can be done with literally your phone and your fingers. Taps. They're all just taps, which makes it so epic and easy to use. I think that with a little guidance, even a younger person could do this and have a lot of fun. So I zoom in once in a while to see how the placement is, and if I like the way that the loop was going around her neck to make it look like that natural look. I wanted to have the pendant dangle just off on the center, and as you see, it actually gives me demarcation lines of the center of the screen. You saw that little purple that was there. If you go back and look and rewind, it kind of helps you see where things are centered. So it takes a little bit of the guesswork out for you, which I love. And there you have it. So that's part one. Now, I wanted to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please subscribe and share, give me a comment. And by the way, Lily says thank you too. Bye-bye.